Hey everybody, hope everyone is having a fantastic day so far. It is bright and early on Tuesday, and I thought that I would come live to do a little sciencey bit about how rosé is made. So it is summertime and rosé is perfect for the warmer weather, right? People call it patio pounders or something like that, which is kind of a nice name, but it also is a bad name because when you hear porch pounder or patio sipper or something like that, it kind of gives the attitude that it is not a serious wine. And that is not true. Rosé is a serious wine. I think it started, years ago as that trend and all this kind of light and it's cheap wine and it's this and you drink it right away. And then it kind of lost a bit in what it really is. And rosé, yes, there you can take it and you can drink it, and it's usually high in acidity. It's crisp, so you can drink a lot of it without realizing how much alcohol is in it. But there are some rosés that have quite a bit of alcohol in it, so you're gonna want to watch out for that. But what I want to talk about today is really the science of rosé and how rosé is made. So there are really three methods to making rosé. And now the first method is called the saignée method, or it's the bleed method. And what this is really you're kind of getting two wines out of one harvest. So what's happening is that the people who do their wine by saignée, and by no means am I saying this is a better method or a lesser method, I'm just explaining how it is. Okay? So those who make a saignée, what they are doing is they are picking red fruit. So let's actually start off with that. How is a rosé made? A rosé is made by picking red fruit. Now the color comes from the skins of the grapes. So in order to make a rosé, you have to take the red fruit and let the juice sit on those skins for a bit, and then that's going to give that color. Okay, so the longer the juice is in contact with the skins, the deeper the rosé color is going to be. Now that's another falsehood. People are like, oh, if it's deep colored, it's not a higher quality, or you really want that lighter color to be a higher quality. And that's not true either. It's all a stylistic method, okay? So all that really matters is that you're starting off with a red grape. The juice is going to sit on the skins for X amount of time. Sometimes it could be 2 hours. Sometimes it could be days, weeks, okay? It's up to the winemaker what process they want to do and how long they want it. And then they are going to pull that juice off, and that juice is going to have color. That's how a rosé is made. Okay, now the first method, I'll go back to that. That first method is called a saignée method, and that saignée method means to bleed. And what happens is the people who are creating a saignée method are picking the fruit to be a red wine. That's the difference. They are making a red wine. And what they're going to do is they are going to pull out or bleed out some of that juice. And what that's going to do is provide the rosé, that pink wine, but because at the same time that it's pulling juice off of the skins in the big tank, what's happening is that that big tank has less juice to more skin ratio, so that big vat, that big one, is going to get darker in color. It's going to get fuller with tannins. Let's remember that's where the tannins come from also, right? From those, from the skins also. So what's left behind in the big tank is going to be a bigger and bolder wine, whereas what they've bled off is going to be the rosé. So what's happening is that they're getting two wines from one harvest, and that's the saignée method. Two wines from one. The important thing to remember is that it's really being picked at time for the red wine. So the fruit is at a different acidity level, the fruit is at a different ripeness level. And it's all picked for the red wine. And then the rosé is a secondary process. The second way to make wine is a maceration or a direct press, okay? And then in this situation, the difference is that the people are picking, the winemaker is picking the fruit with the full intention of being a rosé. So now they're picking that red fruit. It's still that same process, still picking red fruit, still going to let the juice sit on the skins for a certain amount of time, and then they're going to take out that juice and create the wine. The difference is that the fruit is picked specifically to be a rosé. And since rosés, we want that higher acidity, that Christmas, that red fruit is being picked earlier on in the season than if they were picking it to be a red wine. And that's the main difference between the two. Like I said, neither is better or worse. It's the method of which the winemaker wants to do it. But in the maceration press, you're getting one harvest, one wine. Saignée method, one harvest, two wines. Now, there is a third method to making a rosé, and that is just blending. If you take a red wine and a white wine and you blend it together, you get pink, okay? And that can be made a third way. Now, it is not so common to make that, and in larger production, it is kind of a lower quality, but that is not always true, because our beloved Champagne, in Champagne, this is the method that they use to make that rosé champagne, right? They're taking the red, they're taking some of that Chardonnay, and they're blending it together, and it is legal there, and it is exceptional. So again, we can't just say a certain method equals a certain quality. Okay, because I don't think anybody's going to doubt the quality of champagne with all of their regulations. Okay, so those are the three ways that rosé can be made. Again, none is better than the other. It's everybody's opinion or winemaker's opinion. Now, what's interesting is that blend, right, leads us to Cordylide, which is our wine. Now, this is a blended wine that is made in the direct press or maceration method, okay? And the reason why we call it a blended wine is not because of how it is made. It is blended by Grenache and Tempranillo. So again, we choose to make this wine in the maceration method, okay? So we are picking the fruit earlier in the season, the direct press. We are the juice is spending a little bit of time on the skins, and then we take that off and we age it in the stainless steel. Now, the reason why it is called Cordylide is because legally we cannot call it a varietal, because this wine is a 50-50 blend of Grenache and Tempranillo. And since it is a 50-50 blend, by legal definitions, it needs to be 75% of a specific varietal in order for you to call it that. So Cabernet Franc, right? It is at least 75% Cabernet Franc, and then we can call it Cab Franc. Same thing with Cabernet Sauvignon, Grenache, any of that. That is a legal definition. So if you see a variety on the label, it means that it is a minimum of 75% of that grape variety. But since this is a 50-50 blend of Grenache and Tempranillo, we cannot call it by its varietal name, and we came up with a fanciful name called Cordylide. And the reasoning behind that is because you see that tree that is standing behind our Draco. That is a Dracaena Draco tree, and that's where the name comes from. But there is also a Cordylide. There is a Dracaena Cordylide. And the cool thing is that it's got pink leaves. So pink tree, pink wine, Cordylide. So our Cordylide is a direct press or maceration process rosé, but it is a blend of 50% Grenache and 50% Tempranillo. Okay, so I hope my little science lesson of rosé was beneficial to you. If you liked it, please double click that so that I get those likes, and leave a comment of what type of rosé you like, or what's your thought of rosés. Tell me. Do you like rosés? Do you don't like rosés? Do you don't like? I don't think, do you not like rosés is probably the more proper way to say that. So thank you for watching, and I would hope that you clink some rosé in the future. Sláinte!